Hi everyone, it's John Fischetti, and this is another of John's lifelong leadership learnings. Today I'm in Wrightsville Beach Park in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, and I call myself Sweaty Fischetti today because it's a sweaty one. I hope you're having a great day. Classic literature from the ancient Greeks all the way through Shakespeare and into modern times uses a device that actually works mostly because our human brain is wired for fight or flight, and our amygdala kind of is teed off to respond to those things. And that's the notion of a protagonist and antagonist. You know, the protagonists are the good guys, the people who we get to know and care about and we hope it goes well for. And at the end, they'll live happily ever after, or at least we'll know what happened to them and we'll be able to understand their experience. An antagonist is someone that's going to get in the way of that, or something that's going to get in the way of that. And we're going to see our protagonist have to negotiate that. That's as true from Romeo and Juliet to some of the modern Netflix series that you watch. In fact, many of the ones that you might decide to leave alone after episode 2 or 3, the protagonist and antagonist are a little fuzzy, not really clear. In your organization, there really aren't good guys and bad guys. There might be low performers. There might be people who are clueless, and hopefully they're on their way out or getting educated to get the right services they need to get better. And quite often, because our brains are wired for hot or cold or black or white or yes or no, light or dark, we tend to turn each other in meetings into protagonists and antagonists. We're for or against something, when in fact, almost every idea probably has some merit. It might not be affordable, it might not be time for it, but it's probably something in there that's of interest that we could think about or talk about. But we tend to turn on each other because we role play those things that are almost out of classic literature. I need you to try to avoid those situations, particularly now that we have to move more quickly, that we can trust one another to be trying to do the right thing. And as leaders, it's really important that you don't play your team off of one another as protagonists and antagonists, particularly if there's power issues between the two, where the person you just hired is obviously going to be right and the person who's just been around for a long time could never be right. They're an old has-been, or vice versa. My suggestion is that you spend time in your meetings with one another outside of that meeting. So if there's 8 people in your team, between now and the next time your team meets, have lunch, have a cup of tea, make sure you're in another meeting with every one of those members of your team. That will allow you to build the trust and understanding of where they're coming from and the different pressures that they're under in that part of the organization. Even small ones fall victim to the same thing small families fall victim to. And you've got this.